Hello everyone. Welcome to my video. I've been gone for about a month, and I wanted to, just kind of jump in and take a look at several markets in here as we usually do. I don't want this video to be too long until I kind of get back into it. Yeah, the market has been acting pretty well, and we've been made new all-time highs. We've had some kind of back and forth, nothing extraordinary in any major way, but it's the month of August. People were mostly gone. I don't think there was a lot of activity. We're coming into September here, obviously. September and October are a little bit tougher months. I'm going to come back and discuss a little bit the wave count, and if the market wants to do some type of a second wave pullback, I think it has the right to do it. It has to break several key levels first. We'll see, but I would not be surprised if that would be something that would be in the cards. I want to start with the technical page, and I don't want to go back and forth. So I'm going to go with the regular markets on the weekly. Then we'll go on the daily, and then I'll go and do a little bit of the wave counts, and we'll take a look also at crypto. So we're taking a look at the S&P. It is, and this is a weekly time frame. It's kind of stalling. It's been stalling for the past 3 weeks. He hasn't really gone anywhere. Kind of the week I was gone, we had a little bit of a sell-off, and then we kind of turned and made new highs on pretty decent volume. So from this perspective, there is really nothing wrong. The RSI, it's still up in the bullish territory. The trend is not interrupted. So I don't want to go into economic data or rate cuts, stuff like that. Sure, it probably helps, although, there are clear instances where, the Fed was cutting and the market was kind of coming down, and only after it stabilized and the rate cuts kind of have their effect, then it kind of turned. I don't want to get into those charts, but, I don't think it matters that much. I think small caps will probably benefit. And they've been acting pretty well, but again, the market, it's not doing anything wrong. And if you do want to look for a serious level of support, it's probably going to be back towards like a 6,200. Those were the prior highs here from the beginning of the year, late last year. And if we test those, then we're expecting support over there. So pullback all the way up there, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Same for the Nasdaq Composite. A nice trending market above all the key moving averages. In terms of the wave counts, we'll take a look, and you could see that you might have some kind of a completion, but it's still without more signals, without more confirmation, we're not going to jump into saying that. Dow Jones, I think it looks fairly healthy, and it almost looks like a nice cup with handle, with this kind of right shoulder. You have kind of the bottom here and something like that, right? So, this type of a pattern usually continues. Let's see what happens. It could be, sometimes they do these little fake breakouts, does like almost like a C wave in terms of a flat, and then we could go into, in the way Dow looks here on the weekly. IWM, pretty impressive in the market. I've been talking about this ever since we started to move back about 214, that, based on the rate cuts, they could be coming towards the end of the year. The IWM small caps could be starting to price in some of that stuff. I think they're acting well. I'm continuing to remain long them, and it's at the moment I have no intention of getting out of those positions. So, take for that what you will, but I continue to stay long the Russell here, and it looks fairly healthy. Started to finally move onto the weekly RSI above the 50, and we wanted to stay there for as long as possible, to kind of continue that trend. Bitcoin has been rejected here. It had a couple of weeks back, it had a run into the 125 level. You can see, that right there. And, it was like a failed breakout. It was a failed breakout. right there and now, whoever bought into that, it's feeling a little bit of pain because the market, it's testing that, and it's kind of shaking those people out trying to come back. We're still trending nicely in the RSI above the 50, so we're still in the kind of uptrend bullish territory. I don't have a lot of concern here. I think it's a normal occurrence that we're going to be pulling back. The wave counts are a little bit tricky in here. I mean, you could have a 5-wave completion in a long 1, 2, 3, 4, and a small 5. So you could do a small ABC maybe into the 100,000, maybe even a bit lower. But, look at this kind of orange line. That's our 200 day or the 40-week moving average. We want that to, provide defense as much as possible. So we'll see. But on an RSI towards 50, even below, towards like a 45, I would look to see if we can get some bids in with confirmation from the daily time frames. Ethereum, it's been a bit outperforming. It looks good. RSI, I like it. This count in here, it's almost like a 1-2. The wave 3, it's a bit higher than wave 1, so it surpassed that equality we were looking for. I was even looking for 161.8, but that's still up there, a bit higher towards 6,500. It's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong here. It's just we'll see what happens in case we get all the way back there once again, if we can hold that. But this breakout seems to be pretty good. Okay, dollar, it's kind of holding gold in a big triangle. Triangles are usually, right, kind of the last formation before a breakout and then possibly a reversal. So I would be very careful here what happens. We're going to get an explosion here one way or another, and we're getting very, very tight in gold. And the moment that happens, that has to be watched. There could be some interesting trades kind of happening there. So, okay, so that's on the weekly. Let me jump on the daily, and then we'll go a little bit to, to the wave count. So, look, the RSI on the SPX, it's still losing momentum. With every high, the market seems to be struggling. So, that's just here on the daily, it feels a bit tired. Friday was a great move. I mean, I know we've had the Jackson Hole speech, and that's kind of the one that created some large moves, but there was no really follow through. I'm not actively trading right now too much, right? I just kind of got back. I need to get back my bearings, but I have a few positions that I've been holding, and they're fine. And I don't want to touch the market just yet. Maybe, maybe even after kind of the Labor Day. So we'll let the first week of September to see how things kind of shake out. But you're fine. I mean, the moment you start to lose the 50-day, then I would start to kind of get a bit more, worried that could be, kind of the beginning of maybe a larger second wave happening, and that could take maybe, September into October. And then, as usual, if it happens, back in November, we can start to kind of turn and move higher again. I'm going to go quickly through this. The SPX is kind of on the same story. Look at the 50 RSI here, how nicely we're bouncing back every time we get back. So, this one actually tested the 50 moving average because it was a bit weaker, but holding well so far. Mags are fine. Semiconductors, I didn't look much at these charts, but again, holding that rising 50-day. Dow Jones, with the breakout and now the retest slowly. IWM, with the pretty big move. I think this was like upwards of more than 3% we had on Friday on this, and this just proves that could be the beginning of a much larger trend in IWM with few shakeouts along the way, but this looks good. And then, Bitcoin here on the daily. It looks just like a simple ABC so far, if you ask me. There's not a whole lot, but I've seen people, say, oh my God, you're losing 110 or dramatic. That is 1 for 1. This is almost nothing for Bitcoin, I think, and it just doesn't, give me any sort of a scare or any sort of like a weird feeling in here looking at the price. I think it's normal. Like, how is this necessarily different than kind of this is? So I don't, it's just, you're in an uptrend. Yeah, you did lose some averages in here, but, there's still a bunch of defense, that's kind of coming. So I don't know, even this level, we're just kind of drop down below it a little bit. So I don't, yeah, this is the one that's kind of, tricky. So if you were actively trading and seeing that would have been a sign to sell. And, or, if anybody bought that one, that would have been a sign to just get out of there because there was a failed move and you would have saved yourself a bunch of aggravation of, 10K in Bitcoin drop. But, longer term, I think we're still good in here and I'm not too worried. Ethereum, look, nicely kind of holding the 20, we might want to do a shakeout back into the 50, but it's been outperforming, so we'll see. And then XRP kind of consolidating, almost looks like it's doing some kind of a triangle in here. My wavecom was looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and some kind of, maybe this is the fourth wave in a triangle, and we're pushing higher in a fifth wave. So with that, let me jump over at the wave counts, and we'll see. So let's do the crypto first, and then I'll jump over to to the S&P a little bit. But that was kind of the idea in the Ethereum, that we were going to do a 1, 2, 3. So we surpassed that 100 that we were looking for, 4,400. Main new all-time highs, I think, and the idea was going towards 6,900 in the Ethereum. That could still be in the cards. I mean, you do have a large, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So there is a chance that this wave 3 is done, and we could be developing more into a fourth wave now, kind of sideways like that for a little while, and then do another push in a wave 5. That wave 1 will be done, and then you start to correct. So, being too aggressive, Ethereum here might not be, kind of the smartest play until maybe it runs to a little bit of a, kind of sideways correction, consolidation type of a thing. That's Ethereum. Then Bitcoin, you kind of know if you've been watching my videos, kind of know what I've been watching. A further move towards kind of 270, 165 there. Hasn't really been tagged yet, but the idea is that this could be a wave 1 of a wave 3. A bit big, if you ask me. So, okay, what happened here? Okay, there they are. So let me go. See, that's kind of what I mean. It could be 1, 2, awkward 3, down in 4, and then quick 5 with the failure. A little bit of that RSI divergence. Now we're correcting in a wave 2. And, we'll see. I mean, this is a big support. I think we're holding here, at least for, then we can maybe get a move back to, 117, and then see if we hold that, or if we fail there, then we come back again and then go. But it looks fine. I mean, it's Bitcoin will shake out, but I don't think it's anything wrong here. So I'm going to look for that as a wave 2, and then for the continuation again, for a move back up higher towards 130, 140, and so on. And maybe this lines up with the correction in equities too, where you're kind of grinding sideways in all these currencies. And then we turn back October, November, and we move higher. And then XRP, let's see if it updates here. But I mean, on the weekly, yeah, that's the look. And, here on the daily, I mean, I would have liked this wave 3. My targets were up here towards kind of 430. We didn't get all the way up there, at least in this original move. To label this as another one too, it's a bit too forced. So, to put a wave 3 there and a wave kind of 4 triangle, A, B, A, B, C, D, this might take a bit more. See, you can also see. I'll do you one here. I'll show you something. Time analysis 4v2. So yeah, I guess in terms of time, we are at about 100%. So right now, this wave 4 is taking as long as this wave 2 took. So maybe there is something here. If not, usually you go to 161.8. So that's a bit later, but. That aside, if that's the idea, then we should still move a bit higher. This wave 3 would be kind of small, so let's not really go, because this could be another wave 1 and another 2. So let's not assume nothing just yet. But clearly the market, let's say, did not reach all the way up there, and instead just kind of stopped and consolidating. So what now? I would look for this level here to hold, right? The top of this wave 1. That would be good, and not kind of get below that. If we get below that, then and then also you kind of have this channel. So I'm still bullish XRP. I don't think, I mean, if I look back here at the weekly, if we can. Yeah, it still looks, fine. I mean, it's just kind of consolidating, and it's in a pretty decent uptrend. I know XRP has these kind of bursts, and then it kind of goes sideways for months and months, and then it goes again. So we'll see what happens. But even here on the monthly charts, I mean, it just kind of looks beautiful. It looks like it just broke out of a huge consolidation, and it's just kind of staying quietly near the highs, not doing a whole lot. On the quarterly chart, looks even cleaner. So, I continue to kind of see it kind of trending higher here. But that's me. We'll if you have any other thoughts, let me know on it. And if I was a bit all over the place, just kind of I apologize. I kind of get back into videos maybe with a bit more of a plan. But basically, I just kind of looked at a few charts. I opened the recording, and I'm like, let's go. So what you see is what you get. I'm not going to edit any of this or look to change anything. So hopefully this was decent information for you. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, I'll talk to you later. Bye.